We are on the festival Daily Buzz out of Sundance and Slamdance 2023 style. My name is John Wildman. I am the editor-in-chief of Films Gone Wild, here with my Daily Buzz teammates from Bitch Talk, Angela Tabora and Erin Lim. And we are going to talk about the documentary SIGN THE SHOW. It's screening at Slamdance, and it's made its way to Slamdance. It's one of the rare films that has had a really nice tour at other film festivals, which I happen to know because it's been at my film festivals before, and now it lands at Slamdance, which is really kind of an accomplished thing. We have Kat Brewer, she's the director, and we also have executive producer and subject Matt Maxey, who's in the film as well. So let's start this off. Kat, our audience likely has not seen the film as yet. Tell us about SIGN THE SHOW.
SIGN THE SHOW is a documentary that brings awareness to the challenges and barriers that the deaf and hard of hearing community face when trying to access live entertainment. And my focus was specifically on music, comedy, and theater.
Yeah, Kat, you are not only a Bay Area native, but you are a self-taught, award-winning, first-time filmmaker. This is quite the undertaking, looking at the lineup alone and the film itself and the quality of the film itself. So can you talk about how you chose this topic and how you met with Matt?
Yes. So I've been going to concerts since I was about 8 years old. I love music. I love comedy. I haven't been going to live stand-up since I was 8, but, you know, as an adult. And back in 2014, I went to a concert and for the very first time saw a sign language interpreter signing the show. And I was completely ignorant. I didn't realize that deaf people liked music, let alone liked going to live performances. So I started talking with the interpreter and then communicating with the deaf people that were there through the interpreter because I didn't know sign language. And come to find out, yes, deaf people, just like hearing people, love music, but they face a lot of barriers and challenges to getting access to it. So I decided that I was going to write an article for the college newspapers where I taught Lainey in the Bay Area, DVC,
Nice.
and
DVC.
yes,
Wow.
and Chabot. And
yes.
And a friend of mine said, hey, like, this sounds like it'd be a great documentary. You should make one. And I said, okay. And I went to Best Buy and hounded the guy for like 2 hours about what kind of camera I needed, what equipment, what setting to put the camera on, because I really knew nothing. And then I just started knocking on doors, hustling for interviews, and I wasn't really surprised. I was surprised, but not really surprised that people were like granting me interviews because it is such a topic that it hasn't really been explored before. And it's important. Everybody wants to be included. Everybody wants to have joy and enjoyment in their lives. And so I met Matt back in 2016. We actually connected on social media and I kind of hounded him for a whole year. And it turned out that we were at Firefly Festival at the same time. And for the very first time, we met outside of a Waffle House at like 3 a.m. and that's when I interviewed him. And it was just like ever since then, we've just been connected. Like, yeah, he's amazing. He's an amazing artist. He's an amazing entrepreneur, and he just opened his life to me, and I'm so honored for that.
Well, I'm feeling the love over here between both of you. I love it. Speaking of persistence, I do want to talk about your access to the musicians that you had in the movie as well as the comedians. Can you talk about that? I mean, and Tony is one of my favorites. So please and thank you.
Really, I had access to the people, who were closest to me, like in the Bay Area. So like I would go to Tommy T's Comedy Club. I would go to Cobb's Comedy Club in San Francisco. Bless them. They took care of me. And I would sometimes just stand outside of stage doors waiting for the artist to come out and give him my 30-second elevator pitch. Other artists like Chuck D, I like tweeted with him for a whole year in his DMs back and forth to get the interview with him. Matt and I met Andre 3000 at Complex Con in 2019, and it was like, you just wait for the opportunity and then make your ask. And that's what I would tell anybody is just like ask. I mean, I've heard no way more times than I heard yes, but the right people showed up and the right people are in this film. So.
Matt, I want to talk to you because I've chatted with Kat about this film a few times now.
Okay.
But you're in the film. You're also the executive producer on the film.
Yes, sir.
Which means you got a little ownership here of what you're trying to accomplish with the film. And you're a wonderful spokesperson. Mm-hmm. But every time I encounter someone like yourself, I always wonder, how much of a pain in the ass is it to be the person who has to explain stuff, you know, to everyone else? Or do you embrace that? Or
I think I embraced it more than I complained about it, and that's because growing up, I never knew about the deaf culture, deaf community. So I feel like my background, my experience is more similar to yours than somebody who grew up in the deaf culture, deaf world, in touch with their roots, in touch with their identity, in touch with who they are. So for me, going to the deaf culture didn't happen until about college. So for when I tell people about sign language and the deaf culture and I see their excitement, it reminds me of how I felt when I was learning. So then I think about what are some of the things that people told me that I wish they had told me sooner? What are some of the things that people didn't tell me that I wish they told me? What are some of the things that people showed me or didn't show me that I wish they showed me? And one of the main things was music. So that's the beauty of SIGN the Show, because it showed all these things with representation on the screen, and that's something I never experienced growing up. And in this culture, in this generation, in these times that we live in now, it's a beautiful thing to see the representation up on screen, plus have the people ask questions about how they can become more acceptable and more inclusive at the same time. So it becomes a win-win. And when you just win, you don't get sick of it. You just keep going.
That's a fine point. Yeah, but to that point as well, I loved seeing, it doesn't always happen, but the interactions between the musical artist and the interpreter, and it's so special. And I love, I wanted to know from your perspective, have you watched these musicians become better performers once they're more aware of the deaf and hard of hearing
I think they become more aware. I think with Chance was so tremendous because you never seen somebody who is a person of color representing the deaf culture and community. You never seen it, let alone somebody who's like, hey, you know what? You have organizations, you have businesses, you have agencies, you have the ways you're supposed to go about it. Bump that. I want you, and I want how we're going to do it together, and we're going to do it our way, a different way. And that was beautiful to watch. I didn't even expect it. I wasn't prepared for it. But to see that happen, I don't think he realized how much he set the precedent for other people to be able to follow in those footsteps and look and see like, hey, this is great for PR. Hey, this is great for showing that we are about our fans instead of just me collecting. So it's just beautiful to watch, and it's beautiful to see the excitement of other deaf people. Hey, wait a minute, he knows sign language? Oh, he's on stage? Are you ready for your blessing? Look at that! And that's what we like to see, and it's inspiring. And we always want to share that story and keep telling that story so that more people can follow it and make it happen for their fan base as well.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know how hearing folks like us can help your community. Like, how can we be allies?
Closed captioning. Captioning. Whether you have a movie, short, documentary, podcast, captioning. There's so much caption now that I don't see how you can be without it. And then if you had the opportunity to work with people, just show that you're on their side by offering resources. Every deaf person is different. I can work without an interpreter, but that doesn't mean every deaf person can work without an interpreter. A lot of times, all we want is to be noticed and kind of equal as far as, do you have everything you need? You need wire, you need an interpreter, you need a note taker, you need a transcript, you need preparation ahead of time. All of that without it being, let me take care of you. Are you sure? And I think that's what we're used to seeing in the past, because people don't know what to do when they see something that they don't know. But the more they see it, the more you now know, okay, this is nothing new. We're seeing it more and more. So, you know what? I thought somewhere, you need an interpreter, right? Watch their faces go from, yeah, I sure do. Yeah, got me in. And then from there, you won't forget that moment. You'll always remember it. And from there, you'll know from that point forward, that's what you do to set the standard for anybody who had the hearing loss. And who had the hearing loss, there's 1 in 3 people in America who are dealing with the hearing loss. So it's more likely to happen than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
Kat, you are coming up pretty soon on a year traveling with this film. And when you do a film like this as a filmmaker, it's like a call to action, and you become kind of like a shareholder in this effort to educate and talk about that for you, because that goes beyond just, did I make a good film? Did people like my film? It goes to, am I getting this message out properly?
Yeah, my goal for this film when I first started back in 2014 was just having another opportunity and a different platform to teach and to educate, because I've been a teacher for 23 years. So I just thought Matt and I, eventually when he came on board and when I met him, I was like, we're going to tour every college, university in the United States and maybe beyond, right? And show this film and talk about accessibility and how communities can become allies and how to provide more access and to have open access where deaf people don't have to request an interpreter. One is just there. Like, it should be there at every concert, at every comedy performance, at every theater production. Theater often does 1 night or 2 night run out of like 30 days, but it should be every day. Their open access is what's most important. I would love to get distribution. Absolutely. Apple would be my first pick because of Coda. I think it would be a really nice compliment. But really, I don't care where it lands. I just want the world to see this so that there could be more education and more accessibility.
Well, the title of the film is SIGN THE SHOW, which is screening at SLAMDANCE. It is screened at a number of festivals, and probably a good handful more before you hit that distribution.
We hope.
So maybe it'll come to a festival close to you. We've been talking to the director, Kat Brewer, and Matt Maxey, executive producer, and one of the subject participants in the film. It's been great having you both on the show.
Thank
It's
you
a
both
pleasure. Thank
so
you.
much for this, for all of you, for the opportunity. SignTheShow.com if you want to go there. There's resources there for people to become more involved and to become advocates and allies.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Let's get it.
Thank you.
I have one more question.
Yes, ma'am.
How many calories do you burn while you sign?
Too many. It depends on what time of day.
Because
are we
you are
inside?
like-
That's
Are we
the
outside?
gym.
Outside.
It's summer, winter, spring, and fall. So I'm up there like DMX and Woodstock and 98. No, it just depends. Outside, the festivals during the summer are brutal.
Yeah.
Like literally, I would bring 3, 4 extra shirts. It depends on the artist. We done Future, Travis Scott, doing the Travis Scott show.
Yeah.
I went through 4 shirts in 1 hour. It's just,
Whoa.
I get those goosebumps. Okay, next shirt. Keep it going. Keep it going.
Why
Wow.
wear a shirt?
Why? Because
Do you have to?
because at nighttime I'm dark, so
Sure.
I have to wear a bright shirt.
So
So
I got
that
it.
way it shows.
Okay.
And then a lot of time once it starts looking like sweat stains, you're not trying to.
Yeah,
keep it
I know,
going.
yeah. I get it.
Yeah, but thank you. Yeah.
Yeah,
The calories go quick.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
good workout.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes, man.
Yeah, you don't need a gym membership.
You gotta have that too. You gotta stay in shape. Stay ready. You don't have to get ready.
Excuse me. Excuse me. Okay. All right.
you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
That was really
Thank you
good.
so much. I was gonna ask.
Yeah,
I have a
well-
new water bottle, so I'm gonna
Yeah.
There's
start a
buttons
new
too,
collection.
if you wanna
Perfect.
grab
Yeah,
Awesome.
yeah.
And I have something for all of you.
Yay! Yay!
So what all did you know?
Something
You
really
know
lovely.
this?
From the movie.
Okay.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
else you know?
Huh?
What else do you know?
That's my name and that.
Okay.
We were gonna try and learn how to say bitch talk. How do you say bitch talk?
Oh yeah,
Well,
bitch talk.
all right,
Bitch talk.
So B.
Oh, bitch.
Yeah, make sure
Oh,
your
B.
fingers are together. There you go. Bitch. Like
Okay.
emphasis.
Bitch.
Because you can be like, okay, bitch, or
Oh,
yeah,
Or what
there
if
you
you
go,
like-
there you go, yeah. So
But
depending on your
close,
mood,
yeah,
like I'm a,
close.
Bitch.
but so bitch talk.
Oh, so then you just release
Four.
the thumb for
So
talk.
it's like it becomes B4.
Oh,
Oh.
So bitch
bitch.
talk.